Concord is this is with it being a first party Sony game, this feels like a historic failure. Legitimately it does. Like, we knew it was bad. We knew it looked bad. I played the open beta. There was nothing impressive about the game to me. Like, this game just spelled this game's going to fail, right? The writing was on the wall. But this is like historically bad stuff, right? All right. So as of this morning, the peak on Steam, which I do think it went up a little bit, was 697 was the all-time peak on Steam. Now, there's no talk of, I haven't seen any PlayStation counts, but I imagine they're also just as fucking bad. 69 on Metacritic with only 5 review scores, all on PS5. At one point, Diddy Kong fucking Racing had more live viewers on Twitch than Concord. The game was apparently in development for 8 years, and Gollum has got has a higher all-time peak on Steam than Concord. Fucking Gollum, one of the worst games of 2023 and one of the worst games ever created, with like a 24 on Metacritic. Like, Concord, this is a game that's going to cost a lot of people their job. Like, up front, like devs and shit, they're gone. Like, they're gone. Like, now, even though we're only a few days in launch, I feel like PlayStation needs to go ahead and just call it.
This is launched?
Yeah, no, this is
I thought
launch.
this was beta.
No, this is the full launch of the game. Yeah, this makes it funnier, doesn't it? This is not beta, my friend. This is full launch.
It is. It is what it is. No, the only people who thought this game was going to succeed, I think, are Sony.
Right. For whatever reason. Look, I look, like I said in my little review that I did of when I tried, this feels like a game that wants to be a different game. Like, you can just, there's so much push around the narrative,
everything
but there's no
told
narrative.
us about this game, every trailer that they made for the game told you it was going to be a different game.
Yeah. And then
it wasn't until they showed gameplay for it that everybody went, oh, it's a hero shooter.
Yeah.
Everybody else thought it was going to be like some sort of adventure game.
And look, I'm going to stand by this up front. It's not a terrible game. It's just there's nothing special about it, right? Like, there's nothing that me playing that beta made me feel like, okay, I have to play more of this. It was a fine game. The game, like, look, I'm not hating on the gameplay. It's just there was nothing outstanding about it that makes me want to spend $40 for this. Like, if this was free to play, I think that this game would have a legitimate chance to at least have a community. It wouldn't blow up, it wouldn't have amazing, groundbreaking numbers, but it'd at least have a community, that it could build on for maybe a year or two before Sony says, yep, that's too little a player count, get out. Now I'm just wondering, is this thing going to die in like record time, like that one Square game that had 2 players playing at a time? I don't even remember the name of the game. Babylon Fall. Yeah, is this going to have like a record turnaround time like Babylon Fall, where they pull the plug on it in like 3 months? Because I feel like they probably need to. Go ahead and cut your losses. You're clearly not going to go anywhere with what you got.
I mean, before they say cut their losses, they got to at least attempt a free-to-play model.
They have to. They have to.
They have to, because otherwise nobody's going to want to play it.
Right.
What, like you said, what is there that makes your game something people should jump into? It's a generic hero shooter. We got plenty of those right now. So figure it out.
What's going to be funny is like literally like if when less than a month they go free to play, because at that point they're cutting their losses. Like, you can't keep this thing up at a $40 price tag.
How do you spend 8 years developing a hero shooter?
Also a great question. I'm convinced this was supposed to be another game, and they were just like, nope, let's turn it into a hero shooter. Because, like, I mean, what other type of game like this in this genre, right? Lays it up with this huge, like, cinematic, almost story experience, or where you start the open beta and it has like a 5-minute, 6-minute cutscene meeting the characters, or delivering in the news, like, oh yeah, at the main menu you're going to see videos of characters all the time. Like, you don't see any of that shit. It's either straightforward, hey, it's a hero shooter, go and play the game, or you do like what Overwatch does, and you have like these cool animated YouTube videos talk, about a character, but none of that's in the game, right? Because it's a hero shooter. Just go play the game. I'm convinced this was supposed to be a different game, and Sony's like, no, we want a multiplayer game. Yeah, make this a hero shooter.
But the problem is that distinction would have been made long ago at this point.
Yeah.
So why are they still advertising it that way? Nothing makes sense with it, and I don't. I mean, 8 years. You could have released this game 2 years ago in a semi-polished state when people were like, because people would have been people probably would have been excited for it 2 years ago,
Yeah.
or they would have been at least willing to give it a try 2 years ago.
Yeah.
It didn't matter if the game wasn't great. Doesn't matter because the game is apparently pretty good.
Okay.
It's like it's decent at least.
Yeah, it's
And
at least decent.
it's at least decent. I haven't played it, so I'm
Yeah.
speaking with conjecture here.
Right.
So it's at least decent, and people don't care. A couple years ago, you could have released a game that was okay, and people would have at least jumped in a little bit.
Right. Got to go free to play. Got to go free to
Should
play.
have been free to play from the start.
Agreed. You got to go free to play.